The entire lobby froze when Nikolai Morozov, the most feared Russian billionaire ever to set foot in that hotel, leaned over the counter and repeated loudly, mocking Elena Carter's accent. "Sorry, senor, your room is not ready." Subtle chuckles echoed among the businessmen accompanying him. Elena's face tightened, not from embarrassment, but from the sheer effort of not falling apart in front of everyone. Nikolai raised an eyebrow, amused by his own mockery. "Come on, receptionist. If you want to work with important people." He pointed at himself. "Speak Russian. Or at least try. Show me you're competent." The manager stepped forward, worried, but hesitated the moment he saw who was involved. Every pair of eyes was on her. Elena drew a slow breath, gathering every fragment of courage while everyone waited, in silence, for her reaction. But no one in that luxurious lobby had any idea what her response was about to unleash. Because before that moment, before Nikolai Morozov's cruel laughter echoed between the marble columns, there was an entire story behind it. A story that had begun earlier that cold morning in New York. If you believe no one deserves to be treated that way, not even by an arrogant billionaire, hit the like button right now and comment. Respect above all. The morning had started with a cutting wind rushing through the revolving doors of the Regency Crown Hotel, a five-star landmark in the heart of Manhattan, known for hosting ministers, artists, and occasionally, some eccentric billionaire. Elena Carter, the youngest receptionist on the team, adjusted her navy blue blazer as she mentally reviewed the list of important arrivals for the day. Her calm gaze hid accumulated exhaustion, short nights, heavy responsibilities, and the constant effort to maintain the professional smile the job demanded. Despite her naturally gentle manner, Elena always carried a hint of tension in her shoulders, not from lack of skill, but because she knew that a tiny mistake, in a place like that, could cost her the job. Even so, no one handled difficult guests better than she did. But no difficult guest compared to the name that echoed through the corridors that morning. Nikolai Morozov. The staff whispered among themselves before he even appeared. He arrived yesterday on his private jet. Rumor says he froze a hotel manager in Dubai with a 10-second comment. Legend has it he doesn't tolerate incompetence. When the automatic doors opened, the conversation died instantly. Nikolai stepped in with two bodyguards, his long dark wool coat swaying with the wind. He walked like someone who believed the world itself should make room for him. Elena lifted her chin, maintaining flawless posture. "Good morning, Mr. Morozov. Welcome to the Regency Crown." Nikolai simply stared at her for a second far too long. His eyes scanned Elena from head to toe, not inappropriately, but like someone evaluating the efficiency of a machine. "We'll see if the welcome is worth it," he murmured, his English pristine and cold. It was in that first look that Elena understood. For a man like him, respect wasn't a starting point. It was a luxury reserved for a few. And she, in his eyes, was not on that list. Check-in should have been simple. A reservation update, confirmation of the presidential suite, and the handover of the digital key. But for someone like Nikolai Morozov, any detail could become ammunition. Elena typed into the system with the calmness experience had taught her, but an unexpected notification popped up on the screen. The suite was still being finished by housekeeping. Just 10 minutes late, perfectly normal on busy days. "Mr. Morozov, your suite is almost ready." "Just a few." She didn't finish. Nikolai raised his hand, cutting the sentence like a blade. "Almost? In a 5-star hotel?" His tone never needed to rise to be intimidating. The two bodyguards exchanged glances. Some businessmen in the lobby paused their conversations to watch the scene. Elena tried to clarify. "It's just a small delay, sir. I apologize for." "Your apology means nothing if your English is broken," he snapped, leaning over the counter. "Say it again. But this time, try sounding competent." A wave of discomfort rippled through the lobby. One businessman stifled a laugh, another turned his face away, pretending to check his phone to avoid getting involved. Elena took a deep breath, keeping her tone steady. "Sir, your room will be ready in just a few minutes." Nikolai cut her off again, this time imitating her accent with cruel theatricality. "Ready in few minutes." Some people laughed. Others, embarrassed, looked away. The manager, watching from a distance, took a step forward but immediately froze when he recognized who was involved. A billionaire like Morozov could close deals, open doors, or destroy reputations. He stepped back, motionless, praying the situation would resolve itself. But Nikolai was just getting started. "If you want to work with the world," he said, pointing at himself, "speak like the world." The sentence cut through the air like cracking ice. The entire lobby went silent. Even the bar on the other side of the hall stopped taking orders. Elena felt the blow. She swallowed just once and kept her posture perfect. On the outside, professionalism. On the inside, a heart battling pain and anger. And in that instant, she realized. He didn't see her as a person. He saw someone to unload his power onto. But that would not stay that way. Elena's eyes lingered for a moment on the white marble of the counter. It was there, in those small pauses between one check-in and the next, that she usually caught her breath to keep going. Her routine had never been easy, waking before sunrise, taking 2 trains, enduring the city's cutting cold, and working long hours smiling at people who barely noticed her. But none of that had ever broken her. Nothing until that moment. Nikolai Morozov's words still echoed in her mind, sharp as blades. "Speak like the world. Try sounding competent." She felt the sting. She didn't deny it. But she would not allow that to define who she was. The lobby remained frozen. Guests held their cups halfway to their mouths. A couple heading toward the elevator slowed their pace, intrigued. 2 businessmen, without a shred of shame, lifted their phones to record the scene. After all, watching a Russian billionaire in a full superiority display was instant entertainment. Nikolai noticed the attention and, like a man accustomed to having an audience, amplified his performance. He crossed his arms, smiling with mockery. "Well then, show us." He took one more step forward. "Say something in Russian." His tone carried venom, but also challenge. "Prove that you have any value at all." A collective breath swept through the room. The tension was almost tangible. But Elena did not step back. Her chest rose and fell slowly, controlled. Inside, the storm screamed injustice, humiliation, shame. But on the outside. On the outside she was what she had always been, poised, elegant, respectful. She lifted her face slowly, meeting Nikolai Morozov's eyes without looking away. The billionaire raised an eyebrow, convinced he had cornered her. Phones kept recording. Someone whispered, "Poor girl, there's no way out of this." Elena inhaled deeply. And in that moment, the entire room seemed to hold its breath with her. Then, with the calm born from dignity, not courage, but truth, she opened her mouth to respond, and her words would leave the entire lobby in silence. The silence was so deep one could hear the faint hum of the air conditioning moving through the ceiling vents. Every eye was on her, the young receptionist, fragile in the eyes of many, but now rising with an almost unsettling serenity. Elena wet her lips, breathed one last time. And then, with astonishing firmness, she said, "Respect is not a gift. It is the reflection of your own soul." The sentence came out clean, fluent, perfect. Nothing of the accent Nikolai had mocked minutes earlier. No hesitation. No insecurity. The reaction was immediate. The bodyguards exchanged bewildered looks as if trying to decipher whether they had heard correctly. One of the businessmen dropped his phone, which hit the carpet with a muffled thud. The couple near the elevator turned fully to watch. And the manager, standing at the back, brought his hand to his mouth to hide a growing smile. Elena continued, without raising her voice, yet with a clarity that sliced through the lobby like lightning. It's a Russian proverb, Mr. Morozov. It means, respect is not a gift. It is the reflection of the soul of the one who offers it. Nikolai blinked twice. For the first time since arriving at the hotel, his expression held no arrogance, but surprise. A discomforting, almost painful surprise. Elena held his gaze. And, just a small correction. She calmly repeated one of the Russian words he had said earlier, but correctly this time, with perfect softness and accurate accent. It's pronounced like this. Not the way you said it. The blow wasn't aggressive. It wasn't loud. It wasn't humiliating. It was simply true. And precisely because of that, devastating. Nikolai Morozov swallowed hard. And for the first time, he stepped back half a pace, almost imperceptible, but enough for everyone around to notice. The sound of phones recording stopped. The laughter vanished. No one could look away from the woman who, with a single sentence, had returned humanity to that entire room. The manager exhaled in relief. Some guests began exchanging astonished whispers. And what had once been silence became a kind of reverent respect. Elena didn't need to smile. She didn't need to say thank you. She didn't need to boast. She simply stood there, steady, elegant, fully in control of herself. And without raising her voice, she silenced the billionaire. For a few seconds, the quiet in the hotel lobby felt like a living entity, heavy, dense, almost respectful. And at the center of it stood Nikolai Morozov, the man who always had an answer for everything, now staring at the receptionist with an expression no one there could have imagined seeing on him. Shame. And with it, respect. He took a deep breath, his chest rising beneath the dark coat, and then stepped toward the counter. The bodyguards instinctively stepped back, as though sensing that moment did not belong to them. Miss Carter, his voice came out less sharp, almost human. I misjudged you. Elena didn't reply. She held her perfect posture, looking at him steadily, without hostility, but also without submission. Nikolai cleared his throat, uncomfortable like someone trying to rearrange their pride. Your Russian is impeccable. Another brief silence. If you ever consider a different career, my company could use someone like you. Interpreter. Coordinator. Anything you want. Several guests widened their eyes. The man who had mocked an employee in front of everyone was now offering her opportunity, respect, and admission of fault, all of it publicly. Elena inhaled slowly. Thank you, Mr. Morozov. Her voice was calm, but firm. But I don't need your money. The words echoed across the marble. Just your respect. Nikolai lowered his head slightly, a gesture so simple, yet so unlikely coming from him, that some people actually held their breath. The manager finally stepped forward. Elena. I had no idea you spoke Russian with such mastery. She gave a subtle, almost sad smile. I studied linguistics for a few years. Russian was part of my research. A small sigh escaped. But life got complicated. So here I am. The manager nodded, moved. Here you are, and you just taught this entire hotel what true professionalism looks like. Still unsure how to handle the moment, Nikolai took a metallic card from his pocket and placed it on the counter, carefully, without arrogance. If you ever change your mind, call me. Elena simply tilted her head in acknowledgement. As she walked toward the back of the lobby, some guests began whispering softly. Such courage. She destroyed the man with elegance. This is definitely going online. And there, resting on the illuminated counter, Nikolai Morozov's golden card remained still. Not as an invitation. Not as a display of power. But as a silent symbol. Dignity always wins. In the end, Elena proved what so many forget. It is not power that defines a person. It is character. And when someone stands firm in their own dignity, even giants learn to lower their heads. If this story touched you, make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Here, every story is a reminder that silent courage can change destinies too.